Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are moving right along, full steam ahead into Chapter 2, The Man in the Straw Hat.
And what a title. It's still referring to Shanks, but it's about to belong to someone else. There's a legacy contained in those simple words. It's not just a piece of headwear. It's a crown, a promise, and a burden, all woven from straw.
It really is. The torch is being passed, even if Luffy doesn't fully know it yet. And this chapter, man, this is where the engine really starts. Chapter 1 was the blueprint, the design phase. This is where Oda puts the key in the ignition and turns it. We meet the first friend, the first villain, and we get the first real taste of what Luffy's power can do. That moment where Alvida's iron mace comes down and it just does nothing, it's like hitting a battleship with a spitball.
A complete rejection of the world's known physics. It's a statement. It tells the reader immediately that the rules they're familiar with do not apply here. This is a world of the impossible, and our protagonist is the living embodiment of that impossibility.
It's everything. If you want to be here with us for every single foundational moment as this legendary crew comes together, make sure you're following the show. You don't want to miss the first time we meet the man who will change the world. It all starts right here.
So, the chapter opens right where we left off. Luffy has declared he'll be king of the pirates and find his crew of 10 men. A grand, world-shaking ambition announced from a tiny boat. And then, a whirlpool.
Of course, it's the perfect start for Luffy. A grand declaration followed by immediate absurd disaster. He doesn't even panic. It's just another Tuesday for Monkey D. Luffy. He's literally swallowed by the sea, the very thing he's trying to conquer. It's like the ocean heard him and went, "Oh really? Let's see about that." And he just goes, "Whee!"
It's an immediate challenge from the world itself. The Grand Line is famous for its chaotic, unpredictable nature. And here, in the supposedly calm East Blue, we get a taste of it. And while he's tumbling around in the ocean, we cut to an island, a pirate base.
And we meet Lady Alvida. Iron Mace Alvida, and she is just the worst, stomping around her ship, asking her crew who the most beautiful woman on the seas is. It's our first look at a pirate crew that isn't the Red Hair Pirates, and the vibe is completely different. It's not a family, it's a prison sentence.
It's a crew run on fear and vanity. Shanks's crew was a family, bound by loyalty and affection. They celebrated together. They fought for each other. Alvida's is a group of terrified subordinates orbiting a tyrant. Her entire persona is built on this fragile, enforced belief in her own beauty.
She clobbers one of her own men, a nameless background character, just for leaving a little dust on the deck. It's not about discipline, it's about asserting dominance. That poor guy, he was just trying to clean. It shows you everything you need to know. Shanks got angry when someone threatened his friend. Alvida gets angry when someone challenges her ego. There's no honor, no camaraderie, just a bunch of guys who are probably one bad day away from a mutiny if they weren't so terrified of that mace.
And it's in that oppressive atmosphere that we meet our first temporary companion.
And that's where we meet Koby, this poor, terrified kid with the pink hair and round glasses, forced to tell her captain she's the most beautiful. You can see the lie sticking in his throat. It's just painful to watch. He's the embodiment of a dream deferred, of a life lived under someone else's thumb.
She explicitly tells him he's useless at everything except navigation. She keeps him around for one specific skill and nothing else. He's not a person to her. He's a tool, like a living compass. This is our introduction to the cruelty that can exist on the seas, not just from the Marines or the world government, but from other pirates. The dream of freedom can very easily become the reality of enslavement.
And he's just so beaten down. He's pushing this barrel he found, probably just doing his chores, when 3 of Alvida's crew stop him. Hepoko, Pepoko, and Popoko, which is just classic Oda naming. It's like he has a dartboard of funny syllables.
They immediately start bullying him. They're going to steal the wine they assume is in the barrel and drink it behind Alvida's back. It shows you the hierarchy of abuse. Alvida abuses them, so they abuse Koby. It's a cascade of misery. No one on the ship has any real loyalty or respect for anyone else. They're all just looking out for themselves, trying to survive until the next day.
They roll it into the storeroom, getting ready to crack it open, and the lid just blasts off and out pops Luffy. Just pops right out like a rubbery jack-in-the-box.
After a lovely nap, apparently. The chaos of being consumed by the sea and sealed in a barrel was so unremarkable to him that he found it relaxing.
The man got sucked into a whirlpool, sealed in a barrel, and just decided to catch some sleep. You cannot write a better character introduction than that. He's completely unfazed, he's not confused, he's not scared. His first words are basically, wow, great nap, who are you guys? The pirates are freaking out, Koby's freaking out, and Luffy's just stretching.
It's the ultimate expression of his character. He lives so completely in the moment that past peril and future danger have no hold on him. And before anyone can even process what is happening, Alvida's club smashes through the wall of the building. She heard Luffy's yawn and assumed her crew was slacking off.
The timing is perfect. It's a masterclass in comedic and dramatic timing from Oda. It just throws everything into chaos. Luffy and Koby use the confusion to escape, and Alvida's first thought is that a bounty hunter is here, specifically Roronoa Zoro.
That's a very important name drop. It's the first time we hear it, and she's terrified. This immediately establishes Zoro's reputation in the East Blue, a pirate captain with her own crew and base. Someone who inspires fear in her own men is scared of just his name. He's a boogeyman to the pirates of the sea.
He's not even there and he's already a force of nature. That's how you build a legend. You don't show him, you show the effect he has on other people first. It's super effective storytelling. So Koby grabs Luffy and pulls him away to safety, and we finally get the story.
Koby explains everything. How he was just going fishing one day, a perfectly normal, mundane activity, and accidentally got on the wrong boat, which turned out to be Alvida's pirate ship. He's been trapped for 2 years.
2 years. He was just a kid. 2 years of being bullied, being a servant, being told he's useless, and the whole time he's been secretly building this tiny rakshag boat to escape. It's his one tiny piece of hope in this miserable life. You see the panel of this tiny ramshackle boat, and your heart just breaks for the kid. Think of the hours, the stolen moments, the splinters, the quiet work in the dark, all for this one chance.
It's the physical manifestation of his dream. Small, fragile, but meticulously crafted. It represents his will to live, a will that has been suppressed but not extinguished. And Luffy, in his infinite compassion, listens to this tragic story of 2 years of slavery and secret hope and just says, "You're a wimp and an idiot."
It's so blunt. It's like a punch to the gut, but it's also exactly what Koby needs to hear. There's no pity in it. It's not, oh, you poor thing. It's just a statement of fact. You let this happen to you. Luffy operates on such a different wavelength. He sees a problem, he punches it. Koby saw a problem and hid from it for 2 years.
It's the first time Luffy's simple, forward-moving philosophy collides with the mindset of a normal person. He can't comprehend living in fear like that. To him, if you don't like where you are, you leave. The idea of being paralyzed by fear is utterly alien to him. So when Koby asks what Luffy's dream is, the contrast is enormous.
Luffy just says it plain. I'm going to be king of the pirates. No hesitation, no qualifier. And Koby has the reaction any sane person would. He thinks it's impossible. He says all the pirates in the world are after the One Piece, that it's a great treasure.
Okay, but think about what this means from a world-building perspective. This is the first time we get confirmation from a character in the world that the One Piece is the goal for pirates. Goldie Roger's speech set the stage, but Koby, a knowledgeable navigator, confirms that finding it in the Grand Line is the acknowledged path to becoming Pirate King. He grounds the legend in the reality of their world.
And Koby's mind just goes to the danger. He says Luffy will have to die. He's thinking logically. The Pirate King is the top spot. To get there, you have to beat everyone else, and the world government, and the Marines, and probably sea monsters the size of islands. The odds are basically zero. And Luffy just looks at him, dead serious, and says, "That's why I don't mind dying."
It's the core of his character laid bare in the second chapter. It's not about whether I can do it or not. I'm doing it because I want to. I decided I'm going to be king of the pirates, and if I die fighting for it, then that's that. This is more than just ambition. It's a philosophy of life. It's a complete rejection of regret. Live for your dream, and if you fall with your eyes on the prize. There's no shame in that.
That line, that's the whole series. It's what separates him from everyone else. It's not about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about having the most conviction. He's already accepted the stakes. If the price of chasing the ultimate freedom is death, he's willing to pay it. And Koby is just floored. He can't understand that level of conviction. He spent 2 years just trying to survive, and this stranger is talking about being willing to die.
And Luffy gets angry. He doesn't understand Koby's weakness, his passivity. He tells Koby he doesn't like him, and then he just clocks him one.
A good old-fashioned punch to the head. But look at how Oda draws it. It's not a mean-spirited punch. It's not Gomu Gomu no pistol. It's a wake-up call. It's like he's trying to physically knock the cowardice out of him, to reset his brain. And it works. Something in Koby just snaps.
All the fear, all the years of telling himself to just be quiet and survive, it all shatters. He stands up, tears in his eyes, and finally admits his own dream. He doesn't want to be a cabin boy. He wants to be a Marine.
To catch bad guys. It's the polar opposite of Luffy's dream, but they come from the same place. This deep desire to live by your own code, to fight for what you believe in. Luffy wants to be the freest man on the sea, and Koby wants to enforce justice so others can be free from people like Alvida. They are two sides of the same coin of justice, one chaotic and personal, the other structured and societal.
And once he says it out loud, he can't take it back. It's a verbal point of no return. He starts yelling that he's going to capture Alvida himself, that he'd rather die trying to escape and join the Marines than live one more day as her slave. Luffy didn't give him the dream, but he gave him the courage to voice it.
It's his first real moment of courage, a direct result of Luffy's influence. He's already changing people's lives, and he doesn't even have a crew yet. And of course, that's the exact moment Alvida shows up.
The timing is, again, impeccable. It's a classic Oda trope. A character makes a grand declaration only to be immediately confronted by the object of that declaration. And she's heard everything. And the first thing she does is raise her iron mace and bring it down, right on Koby's little escape boat.
Smashes it to splinters. 2 years of secret work, of hope, of dreaming, just obliterated in a second. It's so brutal. That's not just wood and nails. That was his future. It's Oda telling us that sometimes just having the courage to speak isn't enough. The world will still try to crush you. It's a gut punch.
And she accuses Koby of siding with the bounty hunter, Zoro. She can't comprehend that Koby would stand up to her on his own. In her mind, the weak can only challenge the strong if they have someone even stronger backing them up. Her worldview is so limited by her own reliance on brute force that she can't imagine courage as an internal quality.
And then she asks him the question one last time. Koby, who is the most beautiful woman on all the seas? It's the final test. This is it. Is he going to fold? Is he going to go back to being the wimp and the idiot to save his own skin?
Koby is frozen. All his newfound courage is draining away. You can see the terror in his eyes. He's about to break. His life is flashing before his eyes.
But Luffy steps in. No hesitation. Just looks Alvida up and down and says she's an ugly old hag.
The sheer honesty is what makes it so powerful. He isn't trying to be heroic. He isn't trying to save Koby in that moment. He's just saying what he sees. He has no concept of lying to save his own skin or to placate a tyrant. This is who he is. The truth, as he sees it, is the only thing he knows how to speak.
And that's all Koby needed. He sees Luffy do it and it gives him the strength. It's like Luffy's courage is contagious. He starts screaming it. He calls her a fat, ugly, mean old battle axe. He lets out 2 years of pent-up frustration and terror in one glorious, cathartic insult. He didn't just say she was ugly. He said everything he was ever afraid to think.
Alvida is, of course, enraged. Her entire identity has been shattered by a boy she considered less than dirt. She swings her club to kill Koby, and Luffy just steps in front of him.
He just takes it. He doesn't block it. He doesn't dodge it. He just stands there and lets it happen. That giant, spiky iron mace comes crashing down right on his head. Koby screams. Alvida's crew thinks he's dead. The panel is just pure impact.
And then nothing. The mace just sort of bounces off with a comical boing. Luffy doesn't even flinch. He just stands there looking annoyed, maybe a little confused as to why she'd even bother. It's the most profound anticlimax, and it's brilliant.
The silence in that moment must have been deafening. Everyone just staring, completely unable to process what they just saw. A man just took a direct hit from the iron mace and is totally fine. That's how you establish that your main character is built different. You set up the villain's ultimate weapon, show its power, and then have your hero completely casually nullify it.
This is the moment the rules of their world bend. For Alvida and her crew, this is supernatural. They don't know about devil fruits. This is an impossibility made real right in front of them. It is, for all intents and purposes, magic.
And Luffy just touches his head and says that didn't hurt at all, because he's made of rubber. The reveal is so casual, no big dramatic speech, just, oh yeah, I ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi. I'm a rubber man, this is normal for me. And then he pulls his arm back and back and back further.
The visual of his arm stretching for the first time must be so bizarre to a first-time reader. The anatomy just breaks. It coils like a snake. What is happening? How does that work? Oda makes us feel the same confusion and awe that the Alvida's crew were feeling.
He calls it Gomu Gomu no, the first named attack, the one that started it all. Pistol, and his fist flies across the clearing and just smashes into Alvida, sending her into the sky. One hit. It wasn't even a fight, it was a conclusion.
It's not a fight, it's a statement of power. He didn't struggle, he didn't even really try. He just ended it. The force of his conviction, which we saw in his words to Koby, is now made physical. His will is so strong it literally sends his enemies into the stratosphere.
Super! That is the moment, the first real punch of the journey. He didn't just defeat a villain, he defended a friend and helped him realize his own dream. This is what the Straw Hat Pirates are going to be all about right here in Chapter 2. It's the mission statement in action.
He completely dismantles her entire philosophy. She ruled by fear and physical force, and he just proved that her ultimate physical force means nothing to him. He didn't outsmart her or outmaneuver her. He simply overpowered her foundational principle on a fundamental level. Her power source was rendered obsolete.
After she's gone, he turns to her terrified crew and just tells them to go get Koby a boat and not to get in his way. He's not even a captain yet, but he carries that authority, that presence, and they just do it. They scramble to get him a boat because they are way more scared of him now than they ever were of Alvida. He defeated their monster, which makes him the new monster in their eyes.
So the chapter ends with Luffy and Koby sailing away together, a pirate and a future marine, side by side. It's such an iconic pairing, a friendship born from a shared moment of courage, even though their paths are destined to diverge and clash.
It really is. Koby is so grateful, and he's already thinking practically, telling Luffy about the need for a navigator for the Grand Line. And he brings up Zoro again. He explains that Zoro is at a nearby marine base, captured. He's the demon that Alvida was so scared of.
And Koby, thinking like a normal person, assumes Luffy will want to avoid a marine base, especially since a dangerous pirate hunter is there. A pirate going to a marine base is like a mouse walking into a cat convention. It is fundamentally a bad idea.
But Luffy's brain just doesn't work that way. It's not wired for self-preservation in the traditional sense. He hears strong guy and pirate hunter, and his immediate thought is, I want him on my crew. He doesn't hear the danger, he only hears the potential.
Koby is horrified. He's a bad guy. He's a demon. He's repeating the rumors, the reputation that precedes Zoro. He's reacting based on what the world has told him. But Luffy's mind is already made up.
Luffy just wants to know if he's a good guy. That's it. Koby is terrified, saying he's a demon, but that doesn't matter to Luffy. He'll decide for himself. That's the only hiring criteria for the Straw Hat Pirates. It's not about reputation or what the world thinks of you. It's, what do I think of this person's heart? It's a core question for the whole series, and it comes up right here. And with that, they set a course for the marine base. The journey to find the first crewmate has officially begun.
And before we get into what might happen next, Oda's author comment for the week was, "The morning sun seen from the window of my workplace is truly beautiful. I always think, I wish I could wake up to this in the morning before I go to sleep."
The man is a machine, writing and drawing these epic chapters, establishing themes that will last for decades, and then going to sleep as the sun comes up. That's dedication. You can feel that passion in every single panel.
It's a reminder of the sheer effort that goes into every single one of these moments. These chapters didn't just appear. They were forged in the middle of the night by someone who clearly loves this world more than anything.
It really is. If you've got a favorite moment from these first couple of chapters, let us know in the comments. I want to know how many people still get chills from that first ever Gomu Gomu no pistol. For me, it never gets old.
All right, predictions for Chapter 3. What do you have?
Okay, prediction 1. We're absolutely meeting Zoro, but he's not going to be some snarling monster. He's called a demon, but I bet the reason he was captured by the Marines involves him protecting someone innocent. That's the only way Luffy would be interested. Luffy's good guy radar is his superpower, and it's pointing straight at Zoro. So the story Koby heard is probably only half the truth. There's gotta be a noble reason he's tied to a post.
I could see that. Reputation in this world is often a distorted reflection of reality. My first prediction is that the Marine base will be run by an officer with a very corrupt or distorted sense of justice. Oda loves to show that the institutions of the world are not monolithic. The world government isn't just one thing, and the Marines aren't all heroes. The first Marine captain we meet will likely be a specific type of antagonist, perhaps someone who uses the idea of justice to serve their own selfish ends, creating a direct contrast with Koby's pure-hearted dream.
Ooh, I like that. A crooked Marine. That would be a super way to complicate things for Koby right off the bat. For my second one, I think Koby is going to freak out. He's brave now, but that courage is new. I bet the second he's on a real Marine base with real Marines all around, he's going to get scared and accidentally cause a huge problem for Luffy. His courage is new, it hasn't been tested like that yet, and he's going to revert to his old self for a minute, and it's going to be a whole thing.
That's very plausible. Courage is a muscle, and his is still developing. My second prediction is this. We'll get a piece of Zoro's backstory that explains the Pirate Hunter title. I suspect it's not about the money, or at least not just about the money. I think he's hunting a specific pirate or a certain kind of pirate for a very personal reason, and that will be the core of his dream.